Dr. E.N.G. Marek Gruszecki. Philosophy of Being. Krakow, 2025. My 85th anniversary. Philosophical essay Does God Exist? Krakow, the 19th of April 2025.
The Human Soul, Part 1. All living beings in nature have a soul, a divine spark that enables them to live. However, not all souls are the same. Human beings have the most developed soul. So both plants and animals also have a soul. What distinguishes the three essential types of soul is a range of activities that each enables. The vegetative soul is specific to plant organisms. The sensory soul is specific to animal organisms. The rational soul is only found in humans. Animals have group souls. With regard to animals and humans, a distinction is made between external and internal senses. The former includes sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Among the internal senses we distinguish 1. The common sense, which coordinates the impressions received by the external senses. 2. Imagination, which makes it possible to combine these impressions into a coherent picture. 3. Memory, which makes it possible to retain complex sensory images. And 4. Instinct, which makes it possible to judge the intentions of other creatures. The internal senses enumerated here, which are common to animals and humans, are oriented towards cognition of reality. The most cognitive among them is the instinct, which seems to be close to the intellect. What distinguishes us from animals is the possession of a passive and an active intellect. The passive intellect is capable of accepting information from the senses. The active intellect, on the other hand, enables humans to develop general abstract concepts. This capacity allows us to develop and understand concepts such as goodness, beauty, or truth. The rational soul gives the human body everything that the sensual soul gives to unintelligent animals, the vegetative soul to plants, and adds something more. Corporeality incorporates a human being into the material world, while the soul incorporates a human being into the spiritual world. The formation of new representatives of already existing plant and animal species is a natural phenomenon. The parent organisms have the ability to form matter so that it begins to exist and function in the manner of a living organism proper to the species. The formation of new representatives of the human species distinguishes us from all other living organisms. On the one hand, properly prepared matter is necessary, the source of which is a parental organisms. This aspect of the genesis of each of us is natural and makes us part of nature. On the other hand, the procreative activities of our parents are insufficient. The Human Soul, Part 2. This is because man possesses qualities that transcend him and make him independent of matter. These are the active intellect and the self-awareness and free will of man, which are independent of the body and the sense organs. Therefore, the human soul is directly created by God from nothingness. However, this has given rise to the problem of defining the animation of the human soul, the moment of union between soul and matter that results in creation of a human being. The animation of the soul is an unsolved problem and seems to elude human cognition in an absolute sense. When does this magical moment of soul-body fusion occur? Opinions on this subject are very divided and differing. Many scientific and theological authorities have recognized that the embryo is not immediately human. St. Thomas Aquinas argued that the human soul is poured into the human body by God as soon as it is biologically adapted to do so, without, however, specifying the exact term. The criterion of animality can be understood in two ways, in secular and theological ways. The discussion of the secular way of understanding this subject goes back to antiquity, based on the movements of the fetus. The divergence of opinion on animality understood theologically is problematic. Despite the lack of a position taken by the Church, the human being must be treated as a person with the rights due to the person from the moment of conception. The question of soul animation in twins is interesting and complex. The possession of a soul by the embryo would mean in certain cases, such as a division of the embryo with the formation of monozygotic twins, the division of this soul so that each twin would have his or her own soul, which is, however, impossible. The secret of the penetration of the soul into the body will probably never be known. The human body cannot exist without a soul. When it is missing, it ceases to be a human being and becomes a human corpse. People have distinct personalities. However, before God, we are actually all the same. The Bible declares, "And may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your spirit and soul and body be preserved whole blameless, at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. The human spirit is the deepest part of the human being. Through it we can make contact with God in the spiritual realm. God has not endowed this third part to any other creature. And the soul is our very self, the link between spirit and body, which is self-awareness and through which we have our own personality. The body has consciousness of the world. The body contains the soul, and the soul is a vessel that contains the spirit. Drawing.
Conclusion. But Jesus, overhearing what was being said, said to the ruler of the synagogue, "Do not be afraid, only believe." Bible, Mark 5 verse 36. It will still be beautiful, despite everything. Just put on comfortable shoes, because you have your whole life to go through. John Paul II. Mathematics in Nature.